So, for all the Liverpool fans out there, I actually have some good news for you guys. I mean, you haven't had the best season, let's be honest. But in the last few months, Liverpool have started going on a bit of a run, and I think we can safely say that we might just be starting to see the old Liverpool again. You know, the Liverpool that won the league, the Liverpool that won the Champions League, you know, that Liverpool that a lot of fans loved to see, loved to watch. So, back in match week 21, Liverpool sat in 9th place on a pretty abysmal, well, for them, an abysmal 29 points. So, 12 weeks later, in match week 33, they sit in 6th place on 53 points. So, massive turnaround. And really for Liverpool, this is great because especially, well, several weeks ago, I think people were calling that Jurgen Klopp should leave Liverpool. And if he did leave Liverpool, I'm guessing he would leave the Premier League. So having Klopp leave the Premier League, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I just love having Jurgen Klopp around in the Premier League because he's one of those really charismatic managers that has a really bright, big personality. And I just love seeing all the things he says and everything like that. And also, I think when you're a manager, when you're called to either leave or be sacked or something like that, it can have a bit of a dent on your legacy. And to see how well someone like Klopp has done, I think it would be a shame for something like that to really loom over his time at the end of Liverpool. And who knows, he might even leave anyway at the end of his contract. But so yeah, Liverpool over the past few months have gone on a fantastic run, obviously from 9th to 6th in 12 match weeks. And in these last 12 Premier League games, Liverpool have gone and won 7 of them, drawn 3, and only lost 2, which I find absolutely amazing, to be honest. I mean, considering what they were like at the start of the season, they've only lost 2 of the last 12 and they've won 7. They've then gone and scored 27 goals, conceded 11, and this has given them 24 points. So really an absolutely incredible, brilliant turnaround. And this is like I'm not surprised really, coming from Jurgen Klopp, to make this type of a turnaround. I would say near the end of the season, but match week 21 is just past the halfway point, so I'd say that this is more of a second half of the season comeback, if that's even a thing. I may have just made a term up, I don't know. But yeah, 24 points in your last 12 games. I mean, Liverpool couldn't really have asked for much better, to be honest. They're in 6th place. I think that's a Europa League place. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. So he's gone from being mid-table to going all the way up to a Europa League place, and only a couple of places off a potential Champions League place, which Liverpool fans really didn't think was possible back in match week 21 when they were more or less mid-table. So a brilliant comeback so far for Liverpool, because obviously there's I think Liverpool have got 6 games left. So yeah, another 18 points up for grabs. Anything could happen there. However, in the last couple of months, a particular player called Mohamed Salah has really stepped up. I mean, he had a pretty bad start for his standards. He had a pretty bad start to the season, and really this bad start to the season for Salah really made people question whether he was the same anymore. People thought he'd started to regress. People were saying he was finished and things like that. You know, that's the one thing that kind of annoys me. When a player has like a bad season or a bad stretch of games, people are like, oh, they're finished. Okay. A few bad games, and well, it was more than a few bad games, but you know, some bad games and they're finished apparently. But so yeah, for Salah, through the first 20 games of the season, he scored 7 goals and got 4 assists. And in this time, Liverpool won 40% of their games and lost 35% of their games. So even though they were winning a higher percentage of games than they lost, and obviously winning more than they lost, really for Liverpool, you need to be winning a lot more than you're losing, because obviously they have standards. They are a very, very high profile club. They need to be winning a lot more than they are losing. So a 40% win rate to a 35% loss rate really isn't good enough for Liverpool. And just before people start saying this, I'm not saying that Salah is the only reason Liverpool gotten better. I'm just pointing this out as a specific point. Obviously there are going to be other players that have stepped up, but I wanted to look at really their main player, and he has stepped up quite a bit, to be honest. But moving on to the last 12 games, Salah has gone and scored 9 goals. He's got 3 assists, so not as many as the first 20. And their win percentage in this time has skyrocketed almost 20% to 58.3%, and their loss percentage has more than halved down to 16.7%. So really, this is a dramatic change from a 35% loss rate to a 16.7% loss rate is incredible. And then an 18.3% jump in the win rate from 40% to just over 58% is absolutely insane. And alongside that, Salah has also gone and over doubled his goals this season in literally 8 less games. So in a dozen games, he's doubled his goal tally this season. And he's more or less doubled his assist tally. Not literally, just under that, but he's more or less doubled his assist tally. So really, I think that you can point a correlation between Salah stepping up and Liverpool doing better. Also, with Salah stepping up, I think that would help other players step up as well, because obviously, if Salah's playing better, other teams are going to have to concentrate more on stopping him, which will leave other players open to do more. Because obviously, if Salah's not stepping up and other players are, defences can concentrate more on the players who are performing. But obviously, when your big name player steps up, it just creates more chances, and teams have to take more chances on putting extra people on them. So really, Salah is going to have helped other players step up and perform as well, just by him stepping up. Because that's also why I wanted to bring up. That's why I also wanted to bring him up as well, so you can kind of see that correlation as well. So there have been a couple of notable victories in these 12 games. The first one I wanted to point out was the 2-0 win against Newcastle. And really, this was a big game for Liverpool because it was away at Newcastle. Newcastle are one of the up-and-coming teams. They've done very, very well this season. And playing away at Newcastle is a lot more difficult now because they're a much better team. So Liverpool to go and win 2-0, get a clean sheet at Newcastle this season. I mean, that was a pretty damn good performance. So really, that was kind of a statement win, beating one of the big teams. And then the second game that I don't particularly want to bring up, but I've got to. When Manchester United went to Anfield and Liverpool absolutely thumped us 7-0. As a United fan, this pains me to bring this up, but I've got to. Salah absolutely shone in this game. He got 2 goals and 2 assists, and Liverpool they outplayed us. But the one thing I gave credit to Liverpool in this game was the fact that they just took their chances. Man United, we were god-awful, absolutely awful, gave them chance after chance after chance after chance, and they just took them. And we got absolutely thumped 7-0, which we fully deserved. But that was a really big notable victory because it was shown that Liverpool were back, but they were doing something that they hadn't been doing earlier on in the season and taking their chances. So I think those 2 victories were like the big ones, if you want to say that. So really, I think Liverpool are in a Europa League spot, I'm pretty sure. And they are only 1 point behind Aston Villa with a game in hand. So Liverpool really could go into the main Europa League spot if they win that game in hand and they better Aston Villa's results for the rest of the season. However, they are 6 points behind both Man United and Newcastle. And those are the Champions League spots. So, really, the question now is, can Liverpool jump up to a Champions League spot? Which I do think could be possible, but what you've got to remember is Man United and Newcastle do have games in hand, so that might become a lot more difficult depending on how those games in hand go. So, really, my question now is, how much further can Liverpool climb up the table? Will they just stay in a Europa League spot, or can they potentially climb all the way up to a Champions League spot, which would be an incredible comeback for them this season? So leave all that down in the comments. If you like this video and you like me going over Liverpool's little comeback this season, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe if you like things like this, because I'm a real big stat nerd and I love bringing up stats and looking at stats and things like that. So subscribe if you like stuff like that, because that's just what I'm like. Also, thank you thank you for 100 subscribers, by the way. I mean, when I started this, I never really thought I'd get that many subscribers. So the fact that 100 people have subscribed to my channel, I am incredibly grateful, and you are all awesome. So lastly, thank you for that. And I'm going to continue making all of these videos for as long as I can and make as many as I can. So stay tuned for future videos, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.